Hi, my name is Grant Johnson. I'm the CEO of Esports Entertainment Group. We are building the future of esports betting and entertainment. We're here today to talk about our latest planned acquisition of Helix GG Circuit and to give you an update on how this is going to transform our company. Forward-looking statements, of course, you can have a look at that. So Esports Entertainment Group, we trade on the NASDAQ under the symbol GMBL. We're building the future of esports in betting and entertainment. First off, what is esports? For those of you who are sort of new to the sector, effectively it's organized professional video game play where teams and individuals compete against each other in live video games in front of spectators and organized events. Now, it's a huge, probably the fastest growing subsector of the digital entertainment industry. And of course, with the global pandemic and COVID-19 has accelerated this trend. The esports audience is extremely valuable. It's young, it's digitally native, it's affluent, and advertisers have been working on strategies to roll products into and get in front of the esports fans. They have a tendency of being more influenced by their teams and their favorite players than traditional sports fans. So this is a huge sector that the global brands are trying to get into. And in spite of all this massive activity and eyeballs and attendance, it's still radically under-monetized relative to traditional sports. So just to give you some numbers, this gives you an idea of what some of these gaming centers look like internationally and some of these events. There's over 2.5 billion gamers globally. Now, this includes mobile gaming as well as console gaming and online gamers. Some estimates put this number closer to 3.5 billion. 2 out of 3 Americans are gamers. Now, this includes mobile games, could be Candy Crush, online, League of Legends, Dota, etc. And of course, console gaming, Call of Duty, and games like that. The average individual who does games for 51 minutes a day, personally, I probably play a little bit more than that on a daily basis. It's a trend that is clearly sweeping the globe. So, to give you another comparison, the gaming industry is now bigger than the combined movie and music industry. So that's gives you a huge sense of how big this audience is. So just to give you some additional numbers, and this is a live event, so you can see the size of the crowds. The esports tournaments now outstrip traditional sporting events, both in terms of viewership and prize pool. In 2019, the League of Legends Championship drew a larger crowd than the Super Bowl on a global basis, and the winner of the Fortnite Global World Cup won more money than Tiger Woods did at the Masters. The audience is live and large and lucrative. There's a misnomer that the average esports fan is a teenager in their parents' basements. Nothing could be further from the truth. 75% of the fans are between the ages of 18 and 34. 38% of them are women. In fact, the 2 largest growth sectors are amongst females and people over 40, like myself and hopefully many of you. 43% of enthusiasts have a household income of over $75,000, so they're affluent. And the spending on esports is increasing year over year at 60%. This gives you some stats here that you can see in terms of audience size and the types of brands that are marketing and investing in esports. So esports, we have a Esports Entertainment Group. We have a 3-pillar strategy. We are looking to build and acquire complementary assets, and we have our own operating platform. We, as announced previously, we have acquired Flip, which we're relaunching our own platform on. But looking into our 3 categories here, we have esports wagering, which is real money wagering, player versus player wagering, and fantasy. Over on our esports entertainment and infrastructure, we have the tournament play. We have esports specific infrastructure, analytics, and our technology infrastructure, which we'll talk about in the next couple slides. And on the traditional iGaming side, we have traditional sports betting. This provides us with additional profitable growth, access to strategic licenses, which we can market our esports into, and gives us large base pool of gambling customers. So what are we buying today? what are we here to talk about? Well, we're from an infrastructure standpoint, we're buying Helix Esports Entertainment Centers, Genji Analytics and their scouting platform, and GG Circuit, the gaming center operating system, which most gaming centers operate off of this system. And of course, last but not least on this list is on the esports betting side, Lando. This is a betting platform live in physical facilities. This will be of great interest to casino operators as player versus player skill-based betting. So for those of you who have seen previous presentations, this how this changes and gets augments our three-product strategy. In our center, we have IGG, which is being relaunched in New Jersey Q1 next year under our own platform. And of course, that's our online gambling component. And with this acquisition, we add Lando, which is the physical in facility gambling, which again, this is going to uniquely place us in an opportunity to work with land-based casinos and sports organizations who are looking for that component. To the left side of your screen, we have our esports entertainment and infrastructure component, and that is where we have Esport Gaming League, which is our online tournament platform. This is the platform we just recently did the deal with the AEG organization with the LA Kings and Galaxy, which is obviously a blue chip professional sports organization. Helix Esports Centers, these are the land-based esports gaming centers. GG Circuit, this is the software platform that these centers operate off of. And Genji, which is analytics. Again, this is a very detailed, very comprehensive esports infrastructure. And then, of course, on the other side, our other area of pillar is on our traditional iGaming. This is where Argyle Sports Nation. There's a lot of cross-marketing here because on the Sports Nation platform, we learned that during COVID, 50% of their activity took place on esport betting. But these acquisitions give us revenue, licenses, players, that of course all these pieces, all these pillars fit together, and there's a lot of cross-marketing opportunity. So Helix Esports Centers, what are they? Well, these are state-of-the-art esports entertainment centers. Average age, these are not children, 18 plus, over 6,000 unique monthly users, and over 50 plus tournaments are hosted and played. So these centers, there's currently 5. We have plans to roll out several more, including 2 of the largest in the United States. So this is a very, as you can see from the pictures here, 10,000 square feet. These are large facilities that allow esports fans to participate and socialize in person. There's a huge misnomer out there that esports fans are antisocial online individuals. Nothing could be further from the truth. Esports fans are extremely social. They just haven't had the venues to get and gather and play and socialize with each other. And we now are enabling that aspect and plan to roll them out on an increased basis going forward. So what are the synergies we get here? Well, we believe that these centers become effectively the hockey rinks of the future, where schools, youth, they congregate and play. We'll be able to roll out the player versus player wagering platform in these centers. We're currently testing that right now with the New Jersey Gaming Commission. So we can bring people in, have fight nights, tournaments. Even during COVID, these centers are still operating around 25% capacity, of course, but sooner or later we'll be out of this, and these will be much more heavily attended. GG Circuit. Obviously there's a lot of information here. The 3 primary products in GG Circuit: G Leap, GG Rock, and GG Circuit Spec Ops. This is a global product. There's over 1.9 million unique current users on this product right now, with over 62 million hours of usage. You can see on the screen here the major corporations and companies and well-known brands that are currently using GG Circuit. What's important to mention here, every terminal that uses GG Circuit software is a subscription revenue for the company at a basis of $8 a month per terminal on the system. So this is a very lucrative subscription agreement for us. You can also see that over 50 universities are currently on the platform, and that number increases month over month. So just to outline some of the synergies that we gain with bringing GG Circuit into the Esports Entertainment Group, this gives us a back end for in-center player versus player gambling ecosystem, which is nowhere existent in the industry. We're going to be able to leverage the in-game collection of data and analysis for potential other enterprise applications. The expansion of on-screen advertising, those 1.9 million unique users, 62 million hours. This is an audience that global brands want to access. They'll be able to do it working with us through the GG Circuit platform. And of course, we're going to be also adding mobile applications and additional reservation systems in next year in 2021. So Genji Analytics, this is a unique state-of-the-art analytics platform. It's a product that allows us to be integral in the infrastructure of the esports ecosystem. It'll help identify upcoming and future talent. This is key for the franchises, team owners, scouting reports. Again, that's a product that we'll be able to gain additional revenues from. Data analytics, broadcast analytics. We'll be able to get tighter lines on esports. As you probably saw from our previous announcements, our Legends, the Legends tournament, which we sponsored with our friends over at Allied Esports, was the first esports tournament to allow sports book betting in the United States. This product will help the lines get better for esports, and will open up the opportunity for additional casinos across the United States to start bringing esports into their sports books. So we're very excited about this, and it of course opens up additional sales working directly with the publishers, which we're extremely excited about. The synergies that we gain here, clearly, as I've just talked about, was the analytics and the ability for those lines for the casinos. This opens up opportunities talking to casinos, often bringing products into their sports book. You combine it with Helix and GG Circuit, and it's a turnkey solution for casinos. It operates opportunities for us to work more closely with the large sports organizations. As we've previously announced, we work with AEG, and we're looking forward to also working more closely with our other partner over at Hairsplitzer, Esports Entertainment. Now, with Genji, we're gathering data. We'll be able to gather data from VI, EGL, the Helix centers, the GG Circuit. So we'll be able to gather data from so many different data points that we'll have just so many additional products, so many additional revenue streams. It's going to be an exciting opportunity to increase our revenue. So the Land Duel, what Land Duel really is, it's a product that will allow player versus player betting, amateur player versus player betting, which currently does not exist in the esports infrastructure, certainly not on a regulated basis. Anybody who's doing currently, fraud, deception, identity, cheating, these have been problems with when amateurs play and bet. This creates a safe platform. This platform is actually being developed and working alongside with Gaming Commission in New Jersey. It's on a pilot program. Once we get through introducing the Helix centers, this will be absolutely a product that will be rolled out nationwide. Not only will allow the player versus player betting in amateurs, it will allow third-party people to even place bets on that amateur play. So this is a product that currently has never been seen before in the industry. With this acquisition that we're talking about here today, this transforms our product offering, and we now have a turnkey, vertically integrated solution that we can offer casinos. Really, we're the only company that can turn what is currently overwhelmingly dead space in casinos, which is the slot machines space, into, as you can see here, we've given a picture of what one of the Helix centers look like. We can bring this into casinos. I know the casinos are looking for this solution. Some of them may be even on this phone call here. We're able to help the casinos bring esports into their physical plants and operate them profitably so they can get that highly sought after demographic of millennials. We already talked about the disposable income this group has. They're affluent, and currently they are not capturing this audience in casinos. We now are a turnkey solution. We have the solution for casinos to bring esports in. And at the end of the day, as I mentioned, esports fans, they do like to socialize. They do like to attend events. They would love to go to casinos. And now they'll have an opportunity working with our products. What are the terms of this deal? Well, this is a transformative transaction, of course. It's a $43 million purchase price. We expect this transaction to close with the three companies that we're acquiring on or before January 1st. Of course, it's subject to shareholder approval. And we, as a result of this, until we close the transaction, we're going to maintain our 21 guidance at 13 million. We will definitely be adjusting that guidance substantially up once we get the numbers through the audit process. From our 22 forecasts, definitely we're going to be increasing our guidance. We currently have our guidance out there as a minimum of 25 million. We are going to up, as of this announcement, our minimum revenue guidance to $42 million in fiscal 2022. So this, again, this is a transformative transaction. You just have a look at some of the public company comparables. If you see Skills, they're at a 10.4 time multiple. Super League is at a 5.3 time multiple. This transaction for these three companies, we're putting it in at a 2.5 multiples, or where we're purchasing them at. We currently sit below that on the public markets, just because of a general awareness, we believe, of 2.4. And of course, if you look at some of the private company comparables, G-Loop just did a financing a few weeks ago at 37 times. And then you list some of the teams that have 20, 11 time multiples. So we are substantially below. We create a one-stop solution for casinos, traditional sports franchises. This opens up a myriad of additional marketing opportunities, working with the groups we're already working with, Harris Blitzer, AEG, and certainly a multitude of other conversations are already ongoing, including conversations with casinos. So opportunities for the company are really, there's quite a bit of blue sky involved here. Where we sit in terms of benchmarking, well, currently we are the lowest multiple on a major exchange, but either in London or certainly here in the United States. As you can see, we are trading at a 1.2 time multiple versus the median is 6 times multiple. And of course, the average sits even higher at 7.7 times multiple. And frankly, those multiples need to be adjusted upwards, because there's, since the time of preparing the stats, DraftKings has moved up, and of course that does change things. But having said that, the investment opportunity should be fairly evident by this scale and where we sit. And as I mentioned, there are no other opportunities like esports entertainment. Nobody has the offering of product. This is the new representative of the logos of the Esports Entertainment Group. We see our VIGG, our EGL, Argyle, Sports Nation, Flip Esports, Helix, Genji, GG Circuit, LandDuel. We are a one-of-a-kind, fully vertically integrated esports solution. That is our presentation. Thank you for listening. I'd like to take your questions at this time.
Okay, we're now opening the line for our Q&A session. With us today, we're going to have Grant Johnson, CEO of Esports Entertainment Group. And if you do have a question, you can click the question button at any time and enter those, or you can email us at info@redchip.com with your questions as well. And we're just going to jump right into things. We have several questions that have already come in. Grant, our first question, what do you consider to be the most relevant KPIs for Esports Entertainment Group, and why?
There's a number of, particularly with this news here today, there's a number of moving pieces here that are all contributing to our revenue streams now. Right now, our largest, pre-acquisition, our largest source of revenues are coming out of our sports book in Sports Nation. The second largest revenues are coming out of our tournament platform, but we expect that to accelerate quite substantially, particularly in light of the news recently with our new relationship with LA, the LA Kings, LA Galaxy. Our relationship, we expect that to substantially increase the revenues that were in 2019, $1 million sterling. We expect that to go up substantially as we move that into the sports teams in the U.S. And now with this new acquisition you heard talk about today, we presented today, the infrastructure and licensing revenue from the GG circuit would be the next biggest source of our revenues.
Very good, thank you. And our next question, Grant, can you talk a little bit about the potential cost savings with the integration of the three companies you announced, the acquisitions you announced this morning?
Sure. So there's two ways to look at it. Cost savings really are going to be in any duplication, of course, with compliance and human resources and accounting. But really, more so than the cost savings, it's the synergies we gain and giving us access to new markets and new partnership opportunities. Perfect example of it is our relationship with the LA Kings, LA Galaxy relationship out there at Staples Center. It came up in our conversations with them that they would like to take these online tournaments that we're running for them and have them sort of culminate in a in-facility championship. And currently, they don't have the facility or the equipment on campus to do that. And now with this relationship with Helix and GG Circuit, clearly that's specifically what those companies do. So it'll open up a broader discussion, more revenues with the sports organizations who are seeking esports partnerships. In addition to that, and I've said on many panels in the casino industry where casinos are looking for an esports solution, we now have a completely turnkey solution to partner up with the casinos where we can drive the traffic from online into the physical facilities, and people that are in the facilities can play on the gaming terminals. Helix has that expertise. All the software that runs those terminals is what GG Circuit does, and of course LandDuel, which is the Genji product for amateurs to be able to bet skill betting against each other as they play. That is all part of this package, so it opens up that whole new market for us. So instead of cost savings, it's really a revenue accelerator with this relationship.
Very good. Thank you, Grant. And you just were mentioning casinos, which segues into our next question really well. Can you talk more about your pilot program with the New Jersey Department of Gaming?
Yeah, that's really been a project that the Genji and Helix team have been focused on. For us, for esports, for Vi, we, of course, have applied for a gambling license, and we're working through that process. We expect to be live for the Vi platform in the end, first Q 2021. The Genji and Helix team have been working with LandDuel, working with the Jersey regulators to get it approved. One of the big questions and problems there's been with amateur betting is fraud, corruption, and so what they've been testing it with the commission is to make sure that this meets all their regulatory requirements for approval. Once it gets approved, then the product will be rolled out throughout the Helix centers initially, and then be a product available to be rolled into the casinos in Atlantic City is the plan at this point in time. Once there, then of course, clearly we as a company would want to take that product out to the other casinos and other jurisdictions. Because it is skill-based, we should be able to, once approved, we should be able to move more quickly. I can't dive into the specifics of where it stands in the testing because I'd have to bring somebody from the Genji tree. William Collis would probably be the best person to bring on for a future call on that one. But all I can really give voice to is that it is being developed in close relationship with the publishers and the Gaming Commission to make sure it meets all the regulatory guidelines.
Very good. Thank you, Grant. And our next question, how do you intend to compete against the 800-pound gorillas such as DraftKings, FanDuel, Penn National, and what market share would you hope to secure of the esports betting market?
Actually, we're not directly competing with them. We're, as we say, we're sort of fishing in a completely different pond. All those companies you mentioned are focused primarily either on traditional casino or sportsbook, with an extension into fantasy sports. Very little has been done by any of them in the esports sector. So while they're out focusing on their core business, which is sportsbook and casino, we expect it'll be 18 months, maybe 2 years before they have a time to turn their attention to the esports business. And in fact, if you look at DraftKings, which is clearly doing a successful job at getting the attention of the investment market and growing, they still have to migrate from Kambi over to SB Tech. So on top of getting all the licenses locked down, they have another technical challenge to get that migration complete. Once done, they will probably turn their attention to esports, but that gives us a good year, maybe 2-year runway, get our products up and operational, because we're focusing on the esport. We're focusing on working with the sports teams, and shortly we'll be accelerating our campaign and working with the casinos for their esports solution. So we're not competing with them. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if several years down the road, one of those companies comes to me and offers us an opportunity to merge with them.
Very exciting. Thank you, Grant. And our next question, what are the expected revenues from the acquisitions you announced today, and what are the margins of the companies that you acquired?
Sure. We're still going through, as you can appreciate, the transaction has not closed. They're still going through their audit. We will definitely be increasing our forecast for fiscal 21 in terms of the guidance. We currently have it at 13. That will be going up substantially. We have enough confidence in the 22 figures to say that we'll be moving our forecast from 25 up to 42 million for fiscal 22. The revenues are, I would have to say, between 8 to 10 million is the expected revenues from this cluster for fiscal 21. As I say, I won't be able to give you specific numbers till we finish the audit off, which is underway currently. The return, to give you an example, on the Helix centers, they're operating even in COVID. They're operating just around break even, just a little bit under, because they're only operating 25%. But they've come up with some very innovative ways to keep the revenue coming in. They have 25% of the gaming consoles that are working. That's fantastic, of course. When the terminals are idle, they've come up with some very innovative ways to do cryptocurrency mining. And, of course, their food service has been picking up a lot of the slack. The norm, under normal circumstances, to open a center is about $500,000, and the return on investment is about 18 months, 12 to 18 months. To get the ROI on that, so we're excited about those margins. When you look at GG Circuit, you're looking at $8 per month licensing fee on terminals that use the software. It's currently in, I believe, 700 physical locations around the globe, and expanding. Over 52, 53 universities in the United States, colleges and universities use their software. It's on Lenovo hardware. So it's constantly expanding. So they offer different types of revenue. The GG Circuit is more of a subscription, steady, growing revenue opportunities, working with municipalities, working with their land center operators, working with hardware manufacturers. So it's a constantly growing business model for us. And of course, we do plan to bring that into the sporting centers and the casinos as we move forward. Margins, again, to get to the specifics, I don't want to take wild guesses at this. We'll be able to give you some exact numbers by the end of this calendar year before the transaction completely closes.
Very good. Thank you. And our next question, what is your current cost per activated user and lifetime value per user, and what do you expect those metrics to be in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we have a number of different types of users, because we got a number of different types of platforms. The cost of acquisition for an esport gambling user, we're finding those numbers. We're still, obviously, that's a constantly evolving process, but right now it's $30 to $50 per person lifetime. It's a little early days to call lifetime on an industry that's only a few years old. On the tournament side, we've just had a radical development with the LA Kings. Effectively, how this is going to work is these sports organizations are going to be our marketing partner. So the entire contract of $250,000 for those two teams to exclusively drive their 9 million fans at us, it really depends on the number of fans that sign up. But if we have a sign up of 1% of their fans, we'll get a double of our ROI. So our cost of acquisition is going to be extremely efficient in working with these sports organizations. Again, on the GC circuit Helix, as we're engaged in the audit process right now. To give you lifetime numbers on that, again, I'm going to have to wait until the audit is complete, so I have some factual numbers that I can provide you with. Sorry, I realize you want to go deep on it, but I won't be able to go as deep as I'd like until those audited figures are in.
Okay, very, very good. Thank you, Grant. And our next question, can you talk a little bit more about the analytics platform that you announced that you acquired today?
Sure. The Genji platform, William Collis, who literally wrote the book of esports. In fact, I'm holding a copy of it right here. That's his brainchild. The analytics platform allows for a great many different business applications. One of which that we're very excited about, as you can imagine from our side, is that it's going to allow us to run tighter lines on the esports because it has artificial intelligence and can track, game or play, how a specific player will react in a certain circumstance and give us a more likely outcome of what the line will do. In fact, they tested it with the NBA 2K product, and they were able to beat the existing lines or get better lines than the existing providers in every incident that they used it. One of the other areas, and this is another revenue generator for us as a product, we'll be able to generate scouting reports. As everybody in this phone call is probably aware, traditional sports all have scouting reports. They pay for this service. It has not currently existed in the esports sector. So this new product will allow for talent identification, so we can generate these reports. Every franchise will want them. All the publishers will want these reports. Certainly, all the big teams will want these reports, and that again is going to be a fungible commodity that we can sell. When you think of other products, it'll help us with one of those challenges that's been in casinos and sports books is reliable lines, which, of course, as far as I'm aware, the Legends tournament that we were the sponsor on was the first esports tournament to ever be broadcast in a U.S. sports book in Atlantic City this fall. And going forward with this new analytics program and tighter lines, we believe that this will be a product. Those lines will also be a commercial product that will be able to work with the casinos and providing them with that information. And it gives a lot of feedback also to the publishers. The publishers are very interested in having this analytical feedback as well. And William works very closely with several of the publishers when he was developing the product.
Very good. Thank you. And that looks like that was the last submitted question we have from the audience. I guess just in summary, we covered a lot of ground here between the presentation as well as here in the Q&A. But just in summary, what's the key takeaway? Why should investors take interest in Esports Entertainment Group today?
There's a number of reasons. Number one, we now have the most vertically integrated and diversified offering in the esports space. Online, we have the tournament platform, we have the VI platform. We are to the best of my knowledge, the only gambling company that holds a NASDAQ listing. We're the only esports gambling company that holds multiple Tier 1 licenses, UK, Ireland, Malta, applying here in Jersey, and New Jersey should be up in the new year with these new products. We also now have the FanDuel, which is the gambling product for in casinos and in land-based centers. We have the Genji platform that many companies who are listed on the NASDAQ use Genji
use GG Circuit product. So we really have, if you're looking at how we stack up against our, the competitors and the evaluation the competitors have given, I think we saw 2 weeks ago in G-Loot, got a $200 million valuation on their $4 billion in gross revenues. With this acquisition, will be more than 5 times the size of that, and our valuation is 1/4 of theirs. So I would think the upside potential is more substantial here because we have revenues from multiple different, licensing revenues as well as the gambling and the tournament revenues. We have the most diversified opportunity for revenue streams. And if you look how we stack up, I think we're at 1.5 times revenues, and the average in the sector is 5.5 times. So we have I would say, the most upside potential to move for the investors. That would have to be my primary points to drive home with the investors on the line here today.
Very good. Thank you, Grant. A very exciting story, a lot going on. Look forward to definitely having you back to share some of the successes as you continue to execute as well as you're doing right now. For our audience, if you do have any further questions after we wrap up here today, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at RedChip. You can email us at info@redchip.com, or you can call us at 1-800-RedChip. You can also go to gmblinfo.com. That's the ticker symbol, gmblinfo.com. You can actually sign up for free news alerts. You can also find a lot of additional information there on Esports Entertainment Group. But those news alerts are a great way to stay abreast of the developments as they happen. You'll be one of the first to receive the news. And again, that's gmblinfo.com. With that, I want to thank our audience for joining us. And Grant, thank you again for sharing the Esports Entertainment Group story. Definitely look forward to having you back.
Always a pleasure, Paul. Thank you.